Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. I hope you all are doing well. And in today's fragrance video, I have the last flavor of the month of the year. Yes, it is December, and this one's going to be a little bit different than how we usually do the flavor of the month. And we are going to be talking about my top 5 designer fragrances of the year. And I know a lot of people are making this list, but I'm going to give you mine. So strictly designers, we're not going to be talking about any niche fragrances in this video today. I might make a short video, YouTube Shorts, and a TikTok over that of my niche fragrances that the releases of 2024. Today we got these 5. And also after the intro, I am going to roll my 10 through 6 list as well. We'll talk about one of those fragrances, basically the one that just missed out. But I really want to spend a lot of time talking about these 5 here. And I am sick too, so I'm not going to be sniffing these at all. I don't got my tester strip or my atomizer, so been dealing with the coughs, headaches, and the sniffles as well. And also too, at the end of this video, you all gave me your responses on your top fragrance of the year for 2024. Got a designer, got some niche on here as well. And then also too, I will be making an updated video for the channel towards the end of this month, talking about the channel going forward and basically just ending off this year. So I will leave, that's going to be more of a personal Q&A, so I will leave something on the community tab. It might be already on there, so as this videos came out, so check that out after you get done if you want to ask me any questions overall and kind of the personal Q&A about the channel and about the community for sure. And then also too, like I mentioned, it's about to be the year of 2025. If you're trying to up your fitness game, make sure to check out the content on there to help you out with that. And I got you covered in basically form and technique, exercise programming, and all those videos are on the channel. Greatly appreciate any support possible. And with all that being said, let's roll that intro. Alrighty, so let's talk about this 10 through 6 list that basically the 6 fragrance that missed out is Eros Energy. And I will say I really enjoy that fragrance. It is a very citrus forward fragrance for sure, mainly focused on the lemon. It kind of gives me a Ventus Cologne vibes, and I know a lot of people weren't too fond of that one. Very different from the original Eros DNA, but I really like that citrus that comes off the top. In my opinion, it's very realistic, but then you got the other aspects of that citrus with the sweetness as well. And when that comes down at discounters at the price it's at, that's going to be a steal for the summer and springtime, in my opinion. And it barely missed out. If you caught me on a different day, who knows? It could have been number 5, it could have been even number 4, but Eros Energy just missing out. And got some other great fragrances that came out this year, just didn't crack my top 5. Now, let me know in the comments down below if any of those 6 through 10 fragrances were you feeling in your top 3 for fragrances, for designer fragrances of this year. Very curious to hear. Now let's hop into my official top 5. So first one we're going to talk about is from the house of Mugler, and it is Amen Phantasm. This really blew me away this year. Excellent release from the house. Great way to make their appearance back into men's fragrances, because this line's been discontinued for a long time. And this fragrance, you know, it wasn't something to, in my opinion, it wasn't something to pure Havana, pure malt levels, but it was something that was kind of in the in-between for me. You know, I like this just as much as Cryptomint, and overall in the line, this has a, it's, you know, it's in the middle for me, but great release, and I really enjoy wearing it. If I had to give this one a name like you give all the rest of them in the line, you know, like Pure Tonka, Pure Coffee, this would be Pure Chocolate, plain and simple. It kind of has got that DNA from the original, but it goes on its own path with this one. The performance for me, 8+ hours, projection, 2 to 3 feet throughout the first 4.5 hours. Overall, excellent scent. And with this one, you're going to get a lot of patchouli. This has patchouli at the base, chocolate vibes, got an aromatic flair, and it does have some citrus off the top. And overall, it's going to be about the spices here. It has have some woods in it, but the main player to me is that citrus off the top, and then as this dries down, you get less of the fresh citrus and more of those chocolate cacao vibes, and then you're going to get a little bit earthiness with that chocolate as well. So this stays sweet throughout the fragrance, but this isn't one that stays linear overall. And Mugler, if you watch this video, hopefully you keep making these yearly releases. Amen Phantasm, excellent way to come back into the men's fragrance game, I will say. And I am glad to have this one in my collection. So number 5, Amen Phantasm. And next, number 4. So this one here could be basically with Eros Energy, kind of what I mentioned with that one, and Amen Phantasm. This next one, they all could be shuffled, you know. I could leave one of those out, 2, 6, and bring in, you know, number 5 and 4, for prime example, bring Eros Energy in 5 or 4, or Amen Phantasm, bring it down or bring it up. So all I'm trying to say is this was very hard for me to decide which ones belong in this one. And this is a fragrance at a niche price, but it is Louis Vuitton Lovers. This fragrance here, man, it is something that is very versatile in my opinion. Performance, this is going to last 8+ hours. Projection, I would say 4 to 5 feet in the first few hours, and then after that maybe 2 to 3 feet. So first few hours, what I mean by that is the first 2 to 3 hours, and then it's going to last 2 to 3 feet the rest of the lifespan of the fragrance here. And this one's going to be an all year round scent, so you can wear this whenever. Just dial back the sprays. And I forgot to mention with Amen Phantasm, this one's going to be more of your fall and wintertime scent, date night scent, more night scent. You can wear this in any scenario, night or day, and you're going to get compliments. I get compliments with this fragrance. It's a versatile one, like I mentioned. You got to like woods though. And if you watch my first impression of this fragrance here, you know, I kind of got that little pickly smell, which I was very disappointed, but luckily that pickly smell has gone away in that opening. I still enjoy the mid and the dry down more with this fragrance here, but overall the opening has grown on me. This does have some ginger that the house is known for, and it has some solo notes, but yeah, Louis Vuitton Lovers, I love it. I love it. And you know how I am with Louis Vuitton fragrances. I cannot wait to pick up Lost Sable Roses. That's going to be our next pickup from the house. And I really like Pacific Chill, Ombre Nomad, Immensity, and then Imagination, Afternoon Swim. I can keep going on and on, but really enjoy this house. Very pricey, but in my opinion, the quality's here. And I am overall, if you want to smell like I guess you could say kind of like a sexy lumberjack, this is what you're going to be looking for here, Louis Vuitton Lovers. And, you know, this has got some green and powdery aspect, and it's also ambery, but the main focal point of this fragrance is woods. Plain and simple. Ambery, woods, those would be the main two, with some powdery and green nuances in the background of this fragrance. And some citrus, of course. So, that is number 4. Now we're getting to the top 3 here, and we got 2 fragrances from the house in the top 3. And I was very surprised by this. This is my first purchase from this line here, and it is Scandal Absolute. Man, you gotta like your sweet fragrances to like this one. This one's gonna be more of your nighttime scent. Going out, night on the town, or date night, this could work perfect. Performance, like the other 2, 8+ hours, it's gonna be pumping off the skin, at least off my skin. And I always wanna say, when I'm talking about this stuff, if you get a fragrance and it doesn't work well for you, then, you know, it's your skin chemistry, okay? Everybody, when they wear fragrances, it smells different on them. I know it's kind of weird to say, but every fragrance, when you spray it on skin, reacts differently, okay? And overall, I'm just saying it from my experience. So my experience is I get 8+ hours of this, and I would say this projects for me about, for the first hour or 2, 3 to 4 feet, and then after that, this kind of ranges in about 2 feet. People can still smell it. Definitely very sexy fragrance if you like your sweet, kind of gourmand-ish too as well, because it's got that chestnut here. But this one is going to be all about the fruitiness with that Marabelle plum up top, and then you got the woods as well, and then it is nutty and balsamic. Those are kind of 4 main accords you're going to get with this, but you do get some freshness and some amber on the outskirts of this fragrance. And overall, I'm glad to have this big honkin' bottle in my collection. Scandal Absolute is one that really surprised me because I did not have anything, and I wasn't really interested in getting anything else from this line. But when I got this one, that Maribel Plum, that freshness off the top, it is killer. And like I mentioned, if you want something that is sweet, sexy, and going to work for this time of year, if you're in the U.S. fall and winter time, this is one I'll definitely get a sample of and check out for yourself. So definitely deserves a place in my top 3 in my opinion, and I just can't get enough of this stuff. So Scandal Absolute. Now we are in the top 2, and I will mention with the top 2, if you ask me on a different day, these could be interchanged. So basically kind of what I mentioned about 6, 5, and 4. Those could change on any day with me, while 2 and 1 could change. And I think for today, after going back and forth, number 2 is going to be Boss Bottle Absolute. If you all saw my first impressions of this, I thought this one was a stunner. It just recently came out too. It hasn't been out that long, so it has room to grow, of course. But man, this one is an excellent release in the Boss Bottle line. It's going to give you Boss Bottle Elixir vibes. Not very much sweetness here. This is more going to be focused on animalics, earthy kind of tones, smoky tones, amber, balsamic, and warm spice with some aromatic flair to it. And I will say that amber and the warm spice is going to give you that remind you of Boss Bottle Elixir tied in with that DNA. But this one here goes more into the smoky vibes with the leather in here as well. You get leather vibes, and I think the leather might give it a little sweetness. There isn't, like I said, there's maybe a touch. So if you sprinkle it in there, it's in there. But this is going to be one that if you do not like sweet fragrances, I highly recommend you check this out. Performance, in my opinion, very nuclear in this one. 8+ hours. Projection, I would say projection for this 4 to 5 hours is projecting for me about 3 feet the whole time. And then during that deep dry down, that's when I got about 1 foot away. But man, this was projecting, performing well for me. And it's just something that if you want a good change of pace, check out the Boss Bottle Elixir, or this one as well. They're not sweet. They're more focused, like I said, on the resinous, smoky, amber type of feel. And if you want that Boss Bottled Elixir DNA with some leather tones, you gotta definitely check this one out. I was very surprised by this one. It's still blown away. Definitely deserves in my top 2. And if you ask me on any other day, this one could be my number 1. So Boss Bottle Absolute, glad to have it in my collection. And I highly encourage you, if you hear of any fragrance I'm talking about in this video today, to definitely sample and try it out for yourself and see how it works. This one is fairly new, so not a lot of people got their hands on it, but I'm glad I got my hands on it. Alrighty, last but not least here, we are talking about the other Jean Paul Gaultier, and it is Le Beau Paradise Garden. So the only freshie, other than of course Louis Vuitton lovers in this one, it's got the green juice. This one stood the test of time, I would say. Came out earlier in the year. It's all the way number 1. Okay, at the end of the year, very surprising to me. Excellent release from the house. I know I keep saying that left and right with all these, but they are excellent releases. Okay, this one is very different than the other 2 in the line, the EDT and the Parfum, in my opinion. This one is for the people that like their green notes, that still want that coconut, still want a little sweetness, but you want that sweetness rein back, and you want the earthy, you want the greenness to come out a little bit. This is fresh as well. Also, too, got that coconut, you got that sweetness, but the main player is going to be those green notes in the sweetness and the green notes in this fragrance combined perfectly. You got some fig in this one too, which I really, really enjoy the fig. The fig kind of goes into the greener side with the fig. I kind of feel like it's a little bit more of a fig leaf, but you do get the fig as a fruit. It's a little juicy as well, not much, okay, but it's going to be more green, to my opinion, more green notes. But with this one here, you got aquatics, you got vanilla, you got woods, and it's aromatic as well. But the main 2 players in this fragrance, green, coconut, and then sweet. Those would be the main 3. I know I said main 2. Main 2 would be that sweet, or would be coconut and green, in my opinion. Those are the main 2 I get. But you do get that sweetness, but that sweetness is evened out with the aromatic touches it's got. And the vanilla doesn't go too far into, you know, like how a lot of fragrances like to use the vanilla. So prime example, Invictus Victory Elixir. You know, they really hone in on that sweet vanilla. This isn't really that sweet vanilla here, okay? You do get the sweetness, but it isn't that type of vanilla. If I had to compare and contrast vanilla notes in those two fragrances here, you get a good blend, a 50-50 blend with this one. Overall performance, I would say 8 to 9 hours on this one. For a freshie, that's good. And this one too, basically how it projects off the skin, 2 to 3 feet throughout the whole lifespan, and then towards the end, towards that 7-8 hours, this one's going to be kind of more reined back, maybe 1 to 2 feet instead of that 2 to 3 feet. And overall, if you want something from this line, you want something for the spring and summertime with a little sweetness, but you want it reined back, you want to wear something from the Lobel line, this would be something to check out. Like I said, Quentin Bish did an excellent job equaling out the sweetness with the green notes in this to make it something that's not unbearably sweet. Kind of like Scandal Absolute over here. I said that is kind of succulently sweet. This one has that sweetness reined back and more focused on the green notes. So everybody, that is my top 5 of the year of 2024. Let me know in the comments down below too which year you thought was better. Did you think 2024 is better or 2023? Very interested to hear. Now we're going to get into that little Q&A at the end here. And this is when I asked you all what was your favorite fragrance of 2024. And the first comment I have is from What's That Smell. Appreciate you leaving your answer. What's That Smell? Always a joy to read what you have for my question that I always ask out. And I always enjoy to talk to you in the comments as well. And he says, that's a tough one. Probably got to say between Rabbit and Penguin from Zoologist. And yeah, What's That Smell? I've been really wanting to pick up Penguin. So when, I will say spoiler alert, when the video comes out, when I do a discovery over the House of Zoologist, that will be one of the samples that I have. And I'll be buying my samples here very soon. I already bought a sample of B. I have that. I just haven't tried it out yet because I've been sick. But definitely, I might have to pick up Rabbit. I'll at least pick up about 7 or 8 from the house and give you all my input. But not surprised by What's That Smell liking Penguin or Rabbit from Zoologist. And definitely have to get my nose on Penguin. I've been wanting to get my nose on that since I heard it released. And Zoologist, you've been wanting me more and more to buy these samples. What's That Smell? So thank you, I guess. But thank you for leaving your response again. What's That Smell? And then Liam, we got Liam, last but not least. Thank you, Liam, for leaving your response. Always glad to see you leaving comments on the community tab on my videos, so I appreciate that. Glad to have you, glad to have everybody part of my community. If you subscribe, if you watch all my videos, thumbs up, all that jazz, appreciate you. But back to Liam here. He had Hero Parfum by Burberry, was the fragrance that really surprised him. And overall, I have not smelled that fragrance. I have smelled the Eau de Parfum, and I really enjoy that. Really enjoy that cypriol oil note in there. That kind of reminds me of Stronger With You vibes, but it's got a lot of woods in it. And I'll definitely have to sample Burberry Hero Parfum because I haven't smelled that one. Haven't even tested it yet. There was a lot of releases this year that I definitely want to get my nose to. Like another one, for example, is a Chanel Allure Homme Sport Superleggera. Definitely want to check that out before it goes away. But yeah, Burberry Hero Parfum, definitely, you got me curious now. You got me curious, Liam. So thank you for your response. Thank you for everybody that left their response on here. And thank you to all of you that stayed and watched throughout this whole video. Appreciate you. And with all that being said, I will see you all in the next